Hello everyone, RJ Nick here. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Drugcraft. In the last episode we just made our chicken farm, which you can still hear them. They're little baby chickens, so they're not going to do much for us. But that's alright. They'll grow up eventually and start laying us eggs, and then make more chickens, which will turn into food, which you can never really seem to have enough of in Drugcraft. So as you can see, I'm starting to get stocked up on different things like stone and dirt, which is always good. And some of this stuff is ready to harvest, so it's going to take and harvest this stuff. I always hate if you harvest wheat and you don't get seeds back, just because then you got to run over and grab seeds, especially if you're only harvesting like one of them. Oh wow. Not much you can do about it. That's just part of the RNG. You know, I wonder if I could... Yes, I can. 1, 2, 3. Alright, cool. So I'm just going to extend this and actually make this last row here more pumpkins. So what I'm going to do now is basically continue the underground trench. And I'm going to fill it with water, so now everything's going straight. And this is basically going to be the row where I plant the pumpkin seeds. And for those of you who don't know, that's basically you put pumpkin seeds in your inventory or in your crafting slot, and they turn into, or pumpkins in your inventory, and then the pumpkins turn into pumpkin seeds. Perfect. Whatever. It'll get destroyed soon enough. Sweet. Stuff's doing good. I'm sure that'll get watered from something. Look at that, another pumpkin. And now all we have to do is sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor. As you can see, all the sugarcane pretty much grew too high. Like I said before, it does grow 3 blocks tall, but I mean it doesn't really, I don't think it affects it if it's 2 or 3 when you harvest it. I don't think it grows any faster when it's 2 blocks tall. I've never tried it, so I don't know exactly, but just my guess. Alright, cool. Well, I mean, I guess we've got some stuff growing here, so I'm sure some of you guys want to see how the whole selling process works. So you can only sell items in stacks of 64 or stacks of 4. So what I'm going to do is just leave, let's see, I'm only going to bring stacks of 4 with me, and then should be able to sell it. This one here, I wish I would have saved the cactuses, but I can always get more later. I hate cactuses. They're a pain in the ass because you have to chop them down and you have to melt them down, and it just takes forever. So you're using up coal, taking the time to chop them down, taking the time to melt them. So I don't usually mess with them. When I find them, I just kind of melt them and then get rid of them when I can. So sugarcane, I'm just going to turn this into sugar. If you turn it into paper, it sells for a little bit more, but I'm not too worried about it right now. There's not that much to even make that big of a difference. But I'm just going to leave these here in case I get sent to jail or I get killed or something like that. I'm not sure if people can attack you when you're in jail. I've never found out yet, but if they can, that would suck. And I'm actually going to leave the other water bucket here too. So, got everything I need. Alright, come on. see, do I have 2 more? Yep. Cool. Alright, well, let's go to spawn and see how to sell this stuff. Now, if you see someone with a glass bucket on their head, or a glass block, they're a cop. And if they hit you with their stick, then you go to jail. So luckily there's no one there and we got right in. So then what we have to do now is we have cactus green, wheat, sugar, and pumpkin seeds. So sugar, we only got 4 stacks of 4, so you just right click on the sign, it sells it. Same thing with everything else. So the pumpkin seeds, right click, it'll tell you when you're out. Same thing with this one, the cactus green and the wheat. Now I think wheat pretty much sells for the most, as you can see by the prices per stack, just because it does take a lot longer to grow wheat. Whereas like sugarcane is pretty cheap, just because it's a no maintenance sort of crop. You don't have to replant it every time you pick it. Whereas like with wheat you have to constantly replant the seeds, and if you mess up the soil you got to retill it and stuff, so it can be a little more time consuming, which is why wheat's probably #1. Red and brown mushrooms are also expensive just because mushrooms are a pain to grow, period. And then going from there, it's, I don't know, everything else is pretty easy. Cactus, I'm surprised that that's worth the least, just because it is such a pain in the ass. You have to grow the cactuses and then you have to melt them down. So it should be worth a little bit more, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, we made it safely for our first sale. I think my balance originally, what was it, 6,500 or something like that? I'm not sure. I'd have to look back on the other video. But now I'm up to 8,000. And if you type, I think it's /rank up, and look at that, now I am the rank of a dealer. And let's see what the next one is. So I need 15k to go to distributor. Cool. Alright, well, that's it. I guess now we can just continue on expanding our growing operation. Pumpkins are pretty easy to grow. They grow pretty quickly, and it's also another item where you don't have to constantly replant it every time you pick them, as long as you don't accidentally break the stems. If you do, it does just give you 1 pumpkin seed back, and you just have to wait for the stem to regrow, which can take a while. So try not to do that so you don't waste your time waiting for the stems to regrow. Now if you want to use the drugs in Drugcraft, I do have to tell you, you gotta be careful, because some of the drugs will kill you. You can OD on them and you die. Other stuff can happen. I think you can catch on fire and some other crazy stuff. Nausea is a common one too, which you'll probably see here in a second. I'll waste some of this wheat to show you. I think wheat is supposed to be marijuana. So we'll see what happens. If you want to use it though, you hold it in your hand and you hold shift and then you right click. So right now you can see, yep, I got the nausea, and it just makes your whole screen kinda wavy, and it really is hard to look at, so I apologize for this. But we're done. And let's try it one more time to see what happens now. Same thing, and this is going to be for 40 seconds, so this is much worse. I'm just going to pause the video for a second.